This wasn't supposed to happen, not like this, not to them. And if that doesn't make your blood boil, then ask yourself one question right now. Are the WWE Tag Team Titles still about dominance, or just chaos waiting to explode? Because what went down on SmackDown March 20th, 2026, didn't just shake the tag team division, it flipped it upside down, slammed it through a table, and laughed while doing it. Damian Priest and R-Truth, champions. Let that sink in. And before going any further, drop this in the comments. Do you think they actually deserve those titles? Or was this pure madness? Because what unfolded wasn't just a victory, it was confusion, unpredictability, and straight-up disbelief rolled into one explosive moment. The energy in the arena that night felt off from the very beginning. Not quiet, not dull, but tense. Like something unpredictable was about to erupt at any second. The defending champions walked in with confidence, the kind of confidence that screams, "This is routine." Another title defense. Another win. Another night where they walk out exactly the same way they came in. But across the ring, you had Damian Priest cold, calculated, dangerous. And then you had R-Truth. And that's where everything starts to feel unstable. Because here's the thing. R-Truth is chaos disguised as comedy. One second he's joking, the next second he's flipping the entire match upside down. And that unpredictability, that's what makes him dangerous. So, here's a quick one for you. Would you ever trust R-Truth as your tag team partner in a title match? Yes or no? Because Damian Priest did. And that decision changed everything. The bell rings. And right away, you can feel the difference. Priest steps forward, focused, locked in, ready to dismantle anything in his path. R-Truth? He's clapping, hyping the crowd, smiling like it's just another night. And that contrast? It throws everyone off, including their opponents. Because how do you prepare for a team that doesn't even look like they belong in the same strategy? You don't. And that's exactly what starts working in their favor. The opening exchange is fast, aggressive. The champions try to establish control early, targeting R-Truth because, let's be honest, he looks like the weak link. But here's where things take a turn. Truth doesn't fold. He dodges. He scrambles. He turns what should be a beatdown into something awkward, unpredictable, frustrating. And suddenly, the champions aren't dominating anymore. They're hesitating. And hesitation in WWE? That's the beginning of the end. Tag to Priest. And now the tone changes instantly. No more jokes. No more dancing. Just violence. Priest steps in like a storm. Every strike hits harder. Every move carries weight. He doesn't just attack, he punishes. And the crowd? They feel it. Because now it's clear, this team isn't random. It's balanced. Chaos and destruction. Midway through the match, momentum swings back and forth like a war. The champions regain control, isolating Priest this time. Smart strategy. Cut off the powerhouse, force mistakes, wear him down, and for a moment it works. Priest is grounded, slowed, targeted. The crowd starts to shift. Maybe this is where it ends. Maybe this is where reality kicks back in. But then, the hot tag. And everything explodes. R-Truth bursts into the ring like a man possessed. And if you blink, you miss it. Because suddenly he's everywhere. Dodging attacks, reversing moves, catching opponents off guard in ways that don't even look planned. And that's the scary part. It's not planned. It's instinct. And instinct is impossible to predict. Here's something to think about. Is unpredictability the most dangerous weapon in WWE? Or does skill always win in the end? Because in this moment, unpredictability is winning. The crowd is fully behind them now. What started as confusion has turned into belief. What started as doubt has turned into energy. And the champions? They're cracking. You can see it in their movements, in their timing, in the way they start second-guessing every move. Because nothing is going the way it should. Final stretch. Everything is chaos. Bodies flying, near falls, close calls. And every single second feels like it could be the last. Priest hits a devastating move, almost gets the 3. Truth follows up another near fall. The champions fire back. Another near fall. At this point, it's not just a match. It's survival. And then it happens. The moment nobody saw coming. The mistake. One tiny error from the champions, just a second too slow. And that's all it takes. Priest capitalizes. Truth is in position. The move connects. The referee counts. 1, 2, 3. Silence. For half a second. And then, explosion. New champions. Damian Priest and R-Truth have just done the impossible. And the entire arena is losing its mind. Let's pause right here. Did you expect that ending? Be honest, yes or no. Because if you did, you might be the only one. Priest stands tall, focused, intense, almost like he expected this all along. Truth? He's celebrating like the world just flipped upside down because it did. And that image? It's going to stick. Because it doesn't look normal. It doesn't feel predictable. And that's exactly why it works. But here's the real question nobody is asking yet. How long can this last? Because winning the titles is one thing. Keeping them? That's a whole different story. Think about it. You have a team built on two completely different mindsets. Priest, discipline, power, control. Truth, chaos, humor, unpredictability. Right now, it's working. But what happens when it doesn't? What happens when timing slips? When communication breaks down? When one mistake costs them everything? Drop your prediction right now. How long will Damian Priest and R-Truth hold the titles? A week, a month, or longer? Because whatever your answer is, it's probably still a guess. And that's what makes this so exciting. The tag team division just got shaken. Every other team in the locker room is watching this moment and thinking the same thing. Opportunity. Because if Priest and Truth could win the titles, then anything is possible. And that's dangerous. Because unpredictability doesn't just create champions. It creates chaos. But let's not ignore something important. This wasn't just luck. This wasn't just a fluke. There was strategy here, whether it looked like it or not. Truth's unpredictability kept the opponents guessing. Priest's power kept them grounded. Together, they created something no one could prepare for. And maybe, just maybe, that's the future of tag team wrestling. Not perfect chemistry. Not identical styles, but contrast, opposites. Chaos meeting control. Final question for you, and don't skip this one. Is this the most entertaining tag team in WWE right now, or the most confusing? Because sometimes those two things are the same. The champions celebrate, the crowd roars, and the tag team division? It will never be the same again. Because on March 20th, 2026, Damian Priest and R-Truth didn't just win gold. They rewrote the rules. And whether you love it or hate it, you're still talking about it. And that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Because even after the celebration fades, even after the cameras stop shaking from the eruption of the crowd, something still doesn't sit right. Not wrong, just unstable. Because look closely at that moment again. Damian Priest holding the titles high, focused, composed, almost emotionless. Like this was always part of a bigger plan. R-Truth beside him, laughing, shouting. But here's the twist nobody is ready for. What if it does work? What if this strange, chaotic, unpredictable pairing becomes unstoppable? What if every team that steps up gets dismantled because they simply can't prepare for what they're facing? Because how do you train for R-Truth? You don't. And how do you survive Damian Priest? You try and fail. Together? That's a nightmare. And now the entire tag team division is forced to adapt, to evolve, to think differently. Because the old strategies? They don't apply anymore. Let's take a step back and ask something bigger. Did this moment just change tag team wrestling forever? Because it might have. For years, the formula has been clear. Chemistry. Coordination, consistency. But Priest and Truth? They just proved something else can work. Something unpredictable. Something chaotic. Something dangerous. And fans are reacting. Loudly. Some love it. Some hate it. Some don't even know what to think. But here's the truth. If you're reacting at all, then it's working. Because WWE has always thrived on moments that divide the audience. Moments that spark debate. Moments that make people argue in the comments, share clips, and keep watching just to see what happens next. And this is one of those moments. So now, all eyes are on the next chapter. The first title defense. The first real test. The moment where shock fades and reality kicks in. Will they rise? Will they fall? Or will they do something nobody expects again? Final question before we move forward. And don't skip this one. Are Damian Priest and R-Truth a fluke, or the beginning of something legendary? Because the answer to that question is coming sooner than anyone thinks. And when it does, the entire WWE Universe will be watching, waiting, and ready to react. Because one thing is certain now, this story